Welcome to today's edition of Mental Health Matters. Today we're going to be talking about coming to America. I have Tatiana Shevchenko on the show with us today, and she's going to share her personal story about coming from Russia to USA. Stay tuned. Hi, Tatiana.
Hi, Jesse.
Thank you so much for being a guest on our show. I'd like to start off thanking our guests. It's early Saturday morning, and so we both probably would still be asleep. I know I would at least, but we came out.
Me too.
We could do a good work. Why don't we start off with you just kind of telling a little bit about yourself, and we'll go from there.
All right. So I was born in Kiev, Ukraine.
Okay.
I didn't come from Russia.
Okay, Ukraine.
I came from Ukraine.
Okay.
But that time when I was born, it was Soviet Union.
Okay, wow.
So you're not mistaken.
Okay.
Basically, because I came from the country that is no more.
Oh.
But it was the Soviet Union, and we came to Sacramento in 1992.
Okay, wow.
And now, definitely people don't mention Soviet Union anymore. They say I'm from Ukraine, from Russia, from all other former Soviet republics. Yeah, which is lots of fun.
Yeah.
If you don't know history.
No, I don't know a lot of history, just a little bit. I've been kind of doing my research and stuff, because I told you I have a lot of friends who is Ukrainian, you know, so they speak both Ukrainian and Russian.
Yes.
But it's interesting, Tatiana, how you know, I've talked to people who classify themselves as being Russian, and then people who classify themselves as being Ukrainian. Like, what's the difference? Like, because it seems like the Russian language is a little bit, it's sort of a different dialect, but you guys still kind of cross over.
All right. So by nationality, I'm Russian. But I was born in Ukraine.
Oh, okay.
That's a very interesting question to me, because people ask me who I am, and I don't know. Because I was born in Ukraine, but nationality is Russian. And in former Soviet Union, it was over 180 different nationalities.
Wow.
And Russian is a nationality.
Okay.
So when people call people Russians, but probably because of the ignorance.
Okay.
You know, like they hear it in the news, like Russia and Soviet Union, whatever. But it's just one of 180 nationality.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so Ukrainian people, now there is a big wave of self-consideration or self-esteem among Ukrainian people, because it's the first time they started kind of distinct themselves really, I would say really strongly.
Okay.
We are not Russian, we are Ukrainian, and Ukrainian language is a language. It's not a dialect, not a tongue. It's a real language, and sometimes people who were born in Russia and raised in Russia, they say, oh yeah, we understand Ukrainian, we can speak Ukrainian. That's not true. They think they might understand, but if they hear the real Ukrainian language, they'll be lost.
Yeah, you know, I was asking. I spent time with I call them I still call them my family, but you know, they're good friends of mine, but they are like my family, so I call them my family. They're Ukrainian. I remember I was talking to the mom over, I think it was Christmas holiday season, because I'm always fascinated by the Ukrainian and Russian culture and language. So I was asking them a lot of questions about their history, growing up and living in that era. And man, Tatiana, it was like super fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Like it's I don't know. It's just, I know some people get drawn to certain cultures. Like my nephew, he's drawn to the Muslim, the Jordan, over there, Jordan and Iranian. Me, I'm just drawn to you guys, and I don't know, it just fascinates me, and I ever want to learn more about the culture and stuff. So it's good to have people like you that's out here doing the groundwork, speaking and educating people about where you guys come from, and you being here in the United States.
Exactly, that's a very interesting point, because we look like white, right? We are white.
Right? Correct. That's true.
So we look like European.
Yes.
And I had so many funny stories working here in Sacramento.
Yeah.
When people of other races come to me and say, "Oh, you're white, you have all privileges."
Yeah.
And I said, "What are you talking about? I came here like 5 years ago, 10 years ago. What you're talking about?"
Yeah.
And then I start realizing that because we are white, people treat us as like other, majority.
Yes.
But we are not.
Yeah. Exactly.
And even my children, when they were little, they asked, "Mom, we are minorities." I said, "No, we are not."
Yeah. Yeah.
We are. Yeah. Sort of, but not.
But you're out of appearance.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting position to be, because we come here as any other immigrants.
Yeah.
We have challenges like every other immigrants who came from Vietnam or maybe other countries, and we don't have any recognition. We don't have any visibility.
Yeah, right.
So basically, people from Europe, let's say Eastern Europe or former Soviet Union, when they come here, all the pressure, all the difficulties, they have to handle themselves,
right?
Because they don't have any system or services that designed to meet their needs.
Yeah, wow.
And they are expected to be strong, white, middle class Americans, which they are not. Yeah, right. That's what's very interesting for me to discover.
Wow.
And now when I do my trainings, I said, even if I look like you, look like your neighbor, your mom, or your sister, and you think my English is okay, so I understand you well, don't think like this. Because I come from totally different background.
Yes.
From totally different culture and environment. So I may be totally different than you think.
Yes. and it's interesting too, because a lot of Russian Ukrainians look at people outside, I'm gonna say whites, they classify them as Americans.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's also with the census, right?
Yes, exactly.
With the census, it's always a problem, because census says that it's so much of us, like it's very little number.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not little, it's a couple of 100,000, but still it's little for me, because I know there is more of us.
Exactly.
But on census, we are so proud to be in America, so we put like we are not from Russia or Ukraine. We are American and we speak English. Even if we speak broken English, English is my language. That's interesting. Yeah.
So what were some of the challenges that you and your family faced when you moved here to USA?
So we came into Sacramento directly in 1992. It was me, my former husband, and 4 little kids.
Okay.
The challenges, like there is a common challenges for everybody, right? Like housing, financial, and just get adjusting here. And I can tell you another funny story. So when I came here, I was 8 months pregnant with my youngest one.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, and I was so shy and so kind of lost. So I was thinking, okay, I need to develop the strategy when I get the baby, because I don't know. I didn't know anything about the medical system. I didn't know about anything about where should I go to get a doctor. We don't have relatives here. We just came here as refugees. We have little support from the community, church community, because they knew us from Kiev. It was few people. And they were so new as we are, so not much knowledge. And I was thinking, okay, the only thing I know, if something happened, I should call 911. So that was my plan. But the baby will be going out, I call 911. But luckily in the church, one lady approached me and she said, "Do you have a doctor?" I said, "No." "Do you go to the clinic?" I said, "No." She said, "I have a doctor because I just had a baby recently." So she connected me.
Oh, nice.
And I was thinking, if she would not do this, I probably would call 911 when the time comes. So that's how we are. And we are adult.
Okay.
We come to different country. We feel absolutely helpless.
Yeah, I'm
We
sure.
don't understand. We
Yeah.
don't know even what's the detergent is.
Yeah.
How it does look like, right?
Yeah.
We need to learn lots of things like children do. And sometimes it's embarrassing because also you need to communicate and you don't know the language. And so you try to communicate in English and you're so kind of shy, intimidated because it's not a good English and you want it to be perfect. So lots of feelings, right? And also nonverbal communication. People don't think about it. Take it for granted. But again, every country has its own nonverbal things, right? Every culture has its own cues and everything. So it takes time to read people, to learn how to do it. So I would say like 2-3 years, that's common for people who come here to get very stressed out. And sometimes they get depressed. Sometimes they said, why we coming here? Nothing work out because it's so much pressure on the psychological health, so they need to adjust. And for children, it's naturally. For adults, they want to speed it up. They want to tomorrow. I come here and tomorrow I should be fine. No, that also takes lots of time.
It's interesting. I want to touch on a few things. I didn't think about the nonverbal communication. I know within the African American culture, we have definitely a strong nonverbal communication, like nod our heads, like what's up, or what's up, and that means how you doing, and so that's very important too, because not even to even think about the nonverbal, but when you put the nonverbal in the mix, that makes it just a little bit more challenging.
Exactly.
My friend's mom, and sometimes she communicates to me. She communicates nonverbal. Sometimes when I'm around, and like for example, if she's trying to express that somebody's gained weight, she'll do that. And then so I'm learning to pick up on those little things and stuff.
You're right. And sometimes the people who come from former Soviet Union, they can seem to be aggressive. Because that's our nonverbal communication, right?
Exactly.
They may be the kindest people in the world. But they seem aggressive. Even the way they talk or look or look.
Especially the men are very strong.
Very strong.
So
very strong. Also, the first impression of us when we come to United States, and I hear it all over again, people tell me, Americans, they have fake smiles. I said, how do you know? Because in our country, nobody smiles like just because to be friendly. And so that looks so strange. So people say, why people smiling? They want something from us. Maybe they hide something from us. That's kind of unconscious interpretation. Subconscious interpretation, right? But that's how they interpret it, and it takes again a year, 2, 3 to learn that it's sincere, or at least to distinct what is sincere smile from the fake smile. But in the first impression, everybody's smiling, it's a fake. The kindness is fake as well. Lots of things people need to learn and overcome when they come here.
You talked a little bit about the mental health aspect of it, because I think that's very important too, and I can understand why there's a lot of pressure coming from the immigrants, people who migrate here, because you guys want to get acclimated, people want to just get into it and just really start their life. But it's a process, and being in a new country and dealing with maybe depression or form of anxiety, whatever it may be. How do you address that? Because it seems that like a lot of people, a lot of immigrants, especially with certain cultures, that's not a very popular conversation or a popular thing to be dealing with a mental health disorder. Rather, it's undocumented. Or things like that. So how do you, or undiagnosed? How do you deal with that?
So I would break it into several answers. And the first thing. I do lots of trainings for professional organizations on Russian-speaking community. And the thing I tell them, the people when they come to United States now, they don't come from happy places.
Okay.
Right? When people decide to change the country and immigrate for whatever reason, they would not trade the good place for a bad place.
Yes.
Right? So they come to United States because they hope it will be better.
Yeah.
It means they already have a big baggage with them.
Yeah.
No matter how they look like white Americans
Yeah.
or any other look, they bring something they learn in their own country with them.
Yeah.
And this something, these behaviors and views, patterns and the thinking may be totally different than that's common here, right? So totally different. And when they come here, the immigration itself, it's very stressful.
Yeah.
So just imagine the person with lots of baggage already, untreated baggage, right? Like lots of weight. They come through the process that put more weight on them because immigration, it's loss. We also know lots about like grieving, right? Immigration, it's a grieving process. You leave your life behind you. You leave your home. You leave your familiarity, everything that you're familiar with, your childhood, your store, your street. Everything. Basically, all environment you leave behind, and you come to different environment. And so people are grieving of their past. They don't understand it if they don't have psychological degree. So they don't understand, but it's lots of weight also. And here they come to the situation they have to learn everything they did. When you're born, you learn everything naturally, right? Like as I said already. But now in the different country, you have to learn everything very quickly. And it's put another weight on them. Right? They have to. They're obligated to provide for their families. They have to communicate. They have to adjust. They have to at least live, here kind of feel kind of good. So with this, and our psyche is very adaptive, right? But it differs. It's very individual. So if some people, they start, the problems they were able, I would say, the problems they were able to handle in their homeland, now that's too much stress and other things, they cannot handle it anymore. And for me, because I work a lot as a social worker, I have lots of experience as a social worker, and many of my clients are Russian-speaking immigrants, Ukrainian, Russian-speaking. So I would say that 99% of them could be diagnosed with depression and anxiety. 99.9%. And they don't know that. Because it's their everyday life. And so they live with it, they try to cope with it, they think it's normal. Because they had these symptoms in their home country, and now it's just stronger symptoms, that's all. So it's kind of, nothing changed, I feel anxious, I feel depressed, and they don't even think to go to the doctor because of that. Because the diseases or conditions, they're more stronger, like schizophrenia, for example. They're more stronger. They really kind of urge you to go to the doctor. But depression and anxiety, these two things that people think is just a mood things. They're mood disorders, right? But it's like a mood things, and I can handle it. So that's what I see a lot. And I had a unique opportunity to work in Bay Area with Russian-speaking community, because I always want to compare, like Russian-speaking community in Sacramento, how different from Bay Area community. And it's different community, different socioeconomic status, I would say, in Bay Area, but they have lots of anxiety too. And from my observation, I see the immigrants, anxiety, depression is like a given. Like a given.
I can see that.
On top of everything else.
I can understand that. Do you? So have you been in a situation where you was ever encouraged, or have you felt the need to, or have you encouraged someone to actually go and get help to deal with depression or anxiety? Or,
Yes.
Or but I know that's kind of like a sticky situation because of stigma too.
Right, so that's we come to second part of my answer.
Okay.
Because again, when people come from different countries, they have different attitude toward mental health.
Okay, exactly.
In the former Soviet Union, the attitude is given negative.
Okay.
Because the psychiatry, we didn't have mental health, we had psychiatry.
Okay.
And psychiatry was used definitely to treat some disorders. And also it was used to treat people who disagree with the government.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, so what does it mean? So the government was very controlling and totalitarian government. They discovered that psychiatry can be a very useful tool to change people's minds.
Wow.
Or to manipulate or affect people's minds.
Yeah.
So, and in the former Soviet Union, because it was anti-Western, so everything that westernized, if I like jeans Levi's,
okay,
I'm enemy of the state.
Really?
If I like listen to Elvis Presley, I'm enemy of the state.
Wow.
Because it's not allowed to.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a little bit like make it more stronger,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But anyway, so it was like this, and I met some people who were served time in psychiatric facilities when I was back in Ukraine. I met some people who served time in psychiatric facilities because they were listening Beatles in the trolley.
Yeah. Wow.
He just had this recording and he was just listening it openly.
Yeah.
Then they arrested him and put him in psychiatric facility because something wrong with him.
Wow.
And he was treated with psychotropic medication.
All because he's
to the Western music.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. And that's many of us, and like this, and many books published on this topic too.
Yeah.
So the abuse of psychiatry in the former Soviet Union. Lots of books.
I'm gonna look that up.
And so diagnosis, what they give to people, it was schizophrenia, because that's a very broad diagnosis.
Okay.
You disagree with the government, something wrong with you, you're delusional, it means you have schizophrenia.
Yeah.
So that is why people, especially older people who come from former Soviet Union, they know just one diagnosis.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
So depression, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
Anxiety for them, it's not a problem. Schizophrenia, it's a big flag.
Yeah.
So because it's associated not only with the condition, but with the government,
Yeah.
The label.
Yeah.
Negative attitude. So they prefer not to be labeled, not to be diagnosed, because they don't know what to expect and how they'll be treated as a people, right? As citizens. So they'll be like, what? That they cannot get job now?
Yeah.
Because I have people ask me, okay, if I given this diagnosis, so I cannot work right now, right? Or people will think I'm crazy.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
So they really want to hide or minimize, and that's the big problem I see.
Yeah.
Because when I refer people to mental health, they don't take it favorably.
Yeah.
They said, why? I better go to my doctor. I said, okay, when you go to your doctor, at least tell the symptoms.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's a big stigma.
How I'm going to ask this question, word this question right. Is there pressure from the Russian-Ukrainian culture for a lot of you guys to get married, especially once you're here in the United States and get settled in? I mean, is it pressure to get married and start a family once you're here?
We need to understand that in Sacramento, there is very unique community.
Okay.
Because many of them belong to evangelical churches, Baptist and Pentecostal.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
why they get their religious refugee status.
Okay.
And when they come here, they still because it's in a church setting.
Yeah.
It was very common back then that people get married very young, like 17, 18, 19, very young. And so here, they still have this habit.
Okay.
As I mentioned, we are people of habits, right?
Right,
Whatever habits we form in our previous life, we exercise them in a new life. Yeah, so it's not cultural. It's more like a habit thing that parents think they have to force their children to do because they think it's the right thing to do.
And do you think that causes like a lot of stress on the children or the people who's being pressured?
Yes.
Okay.
So because the younger generation, now I see that generation who grew up here, were born, like my youngest son, he was born here, now he's 26.
Right.
Yeah, so they grew up here, and when the parents don't adjust to the society well.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah, so they put lots of unnecessary pressure on their children in terms of how they want children to behave, how they want children to structure their children's life, you know. And also in terms of mental health, if parents are not educated about symptoms, they can miss lots of symptoms.
Yes.
And the children suffer because parents don't know how to, recognize and to get help on time. And also it's kind of like epidemic. I hear it all over and all over again, like younger generation, when they suffer from mental health and it's not treated, it causes lots of tragedies. It causes suicide in Russian speaking community. We have several cases. It causes homicide. We have several cases. It causes lots of substance abuse. Many cases. So that's like a problem we need to address. Educate parents, but maybe parents are too old now to be educated, so educate at least the grown-up generation about the symptoms and help available, because they grew up in these families, they kind of don't know anything about services. They may practice this attitude, even so they can speak perfect English, they still have no knowledge about the services.
That's why I think it's important if the parents kind of bridge that gap with the younger generation, especially being here, because I feel like they can really help them mentally to know how to survive in because you guys community here in Sacramento, it's like I said, it's different, and the younger generation can help them to get adapted to this new arriving environment that's happening now. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, that's true, and I see it a lot happening, but it also put lots of stress on children. Lots of stress on children. And I never thought that our children have any difficulties to adjust here, because I was thinking, that's me, I need to learn English, I need to find a job, I need to I'm an adult. But then when my oldest son, he was in high school, one day he came, he was crying. And I asked him why he's crying. He was a very tough guy, he was playing school football, very good student, and he said, Mom, I want to be American. I said, you are, you speak perfect English better than I do, everything is given to you, kinda. And he said, no, Mom, because I have a last name that stands out. So when American people hear my last name, they know immediately that I'm Russian. But I want to be American, I want to be accepted. And I never thought about it. Because and I know that children from other immigrant communities, they feel the same way. Because you have your last name, it's like your label.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So, and people assume when they hear your last name or cannot even pronounce it in a school setting, right? It's very embarrassing. And also, when they hear your last name, they have a picture of you immediately in their mind. Oh, you're Asian, or you're Russian. But they don't think that people are different.
That's exactly right.
So that's another stress on younger generation. So they need to find themselves who they are. Right? And in their home, they're Russian or Ukrainians or Christian or something. In the school, they want to be Americans. And that is why lots of problems in Russian-speaking community among young people.
Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about, because we run a little bit out of time, I want to talk a little bit about the Russian Information and Support Services. Not only are are you a social worker, and you doing an awesome work, but you also started, and correct me if I'm mistaken, you started and founded the Russian Information and Support Services.
Correct.
Let's talk a little bit about that, because you guys do a lot. You do cultural training and consulting, you do community outreach and engagement, and you do collaboration to help other organizations. And just kind of speak about what you do and the purpose of you doing this right here.
Yeah, so the training, because I do the training,
okay.
Because I saw the need in Russian, not Russian. Okay, I saw the need in English-speaking community,
Correct.
in American professionals, to understand their clients.
Right.
It's not enough to bring the clients to your agency. The social worker or mental health professional or doctor or whoever work with the client need to understand the background.
Yeah.
So that's my trainings are about.
Okay.
So I train organizations, nonprofits, and government just to understand our community and understand their clients. And collaboration, I would love to do collaboration in terms of not only training, but bring them volunteers, like bilingual volunteers.
Yes.
Because the community, they need to integrate in the larger community. That's always a need. It's not good when community stays close, right? Nothing good happens when group is close. So we need to help Russian-speaking immigrants to get on ease, to get accepted into other communities. So volunteering is the best thing.
Yes, exactly.
So that's what I do a lot. And I have lots of emails from other agencies and organizations who know me. They ask me to bring workers, bilingual workers or volunteers. So this is also my mission, to supply volunteers to organizations.
So if someone wants to, if a Russian speaker or Ukrainian speaking person wants to volunteer for for you, like how would they go about it? Do they contact you?
They contact me because I started as Russian Information Services in a community to answer their questions. So I answer their questions about everything in life in United States. So how they trust me and know me. So, but now I shift a little bit. I say, you know what, guys, you need to do the work yourself, and the best thing is to volunteer or go to work for other organizations. So I have a page on Facebook. I have a phone published in newspaper. So they call me and I advertise free.
That's good.
I advertise free whatever information I know, so they can use it.
You also do a marketing breakfast every year as well to kind of get the, just kind of educate the community about, the Russian-speaking, Ukrainian-speaking culture. Let's talk a little bit about that before we...
Yes, so every year, it's 6 years in a row. 6 years in a row. We do the community breakfast. We do it specifically for nonprofit and government. And about 300 people come every year locally. So the breakfast, it's two parts. First part, I educate them about Russian-speaking community, and I say in the Sacramento area, it's over 100,000 Russian-speaking people. And it's always bring like lots of surprise on their faces because we are like everybody else. We look like everybody else. And the second part, I give them opportunity to network between each other, change information, and learn about each other's services. But it's very important and to educate people in the community about the immigrants who live here. So because it solves lots of problems, and I see this breakfast is very successful, and I would like to continue. Maybe we continue to the big conference. So because I see the need, and people who want to attend my breakfast, sometimes they can't because it's early morning, or sometimes they're not. It's a short-term notice. So they always email me after and say, we wanted to attend. Where will be the next one? I said, it's once a year. They say, oh no, once a year. So I would love to organize the big conference.
And I'm going to help with that. So
thank you, Josie. I'll be happy to. So we can invite people not only from the specific niche of mental health, but from all organizations, so they can benefit from the knowledge.
Well, Tatiana, this has been a very, very, very good interview. We've run out of time, but thank you so much. And once again, this is needed. This particular show right here is needed because the Russian and the Ukrainian-speaking community is booming here.
It's booming,
growing,
yes.
like, exponentially.
Yes, and
So-
in the end, I would like to say that nobody come here to have problems.
Yeah, yeah.
So all immigrants, they want something better.
Yeah.
And when they have problems, it means that something need to be changed,
Yeah.
like get early intervention or prevention.
Yeah.
And the knowledge
Yeah.
about the community is the first step.
Yes.
Yeah, to prevent from many, many problems.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
welcome. Thank you.
Okay, and that's it for this edition of Mental Health Matters. If you enjoy this particular show, or if you would like a DVD copy of this show, or if you would like to be a guest on our show, please dial 916-366-4600. Thank you.